Ohayo, konnichiwa, konbanwa. Hi everyone, welcome back to JFTN, Japan Fishing Tackle News. Today, we're introducing the Bay Drive, fishing gear designed specifically for Flathead, released by ValleyHill. Please note that this product review represents the personal opinions of the JFTN staff and is not exhaustive. We hope you take it as just one perspective among many. Bay Drive is a brand created for boat flathead game fishing, which has become very popular in Japan in recent years. The new release includes a rod, jig heads, and soft plastics. One of the most popular fishing methods in Japan right now is called the winding method. This technique uses a jig head rig that you sink to the bottom, jerk up a few times, and let it slide side to side, similar to an ejai lure. Then, you let it stay on the bottom before repeating the motion. The Bay Drive tackle is specially designed for this winding method. Let's take a closer look. The rod bag features a green color scheme, which is the brand's signature color. The word magochi means flathead in Japanese, making it clear that this is a rod specifically designed for targeting flathead. The main section of the rod blank has a glossy finish, and you can see the marks of the carbon tape wrapped horizontally around it. The grip is a split grip design, which is common in recent JDM rods. The rod specifications are printed between the grip sections. It feels incredibly light when held. It's hard to believe that it can handle up to 50 grams with this level of lightness. Here's the rod tip. The upper section is a solid tip, designed with sensitivity in mind, which is why it's very thin. However, it's surprisingly sturdy and requires some effort to bend. Each guide is coated with fluorescent paint, making it easier to detect bites from fish. Here's the butt section. The grip is made of EVA material, offering a secure and comfortable hold with its size and shape. The reel seat uses an up-locking design. Though the material isn't clear, the grip area is also quite light. We're really looking forward to trying it out. Next, let's take a look at the jig heads. These are designed for use in shallow waters, around 20 to 30 meters deep, and are available in 3 sizes: 28 grams, 35 grams, and 42 grams. Let's open it up and take a look. This is the shape of the jig head. The head is pointed like a triangular pyramid, and this shape allows it to slide from side to side in the water flow. There's also a flat surface on the bottom, which seems to create a wobbling action when it sinks. The top eye is for tying the line, while the bottom eye is for attaching assist hooks or blades. The flat part is designed to be positioned downward. The hook is made very sharp, which should provide reliable hooking performance. And here are the soft plastics. They come in both paddle tail and curly tail versions. There are 10 color options available. Among them, I've chosen the red gold, orange gold, benkei, and caramel shrimp, which particularly caught my attention. To achieve lateral darting action, both tails are relatively small. They have a triangular shape. You can use either side, but they are designed to be attached with the flat side facing down. Like the jig head, the flat surface likely helps catch the water flow and create a unique falling action. I've attached it to the jig head. The small tail gives it a bit of a stubby look. It feels quite soft when you insert the hook. This is the paddle tail. Like the curly tail, it's designed to be small and short. The body length remains the same, but the tail differs in length depending on whether it's coiled or stretched out. There's no specific mention of salt content, and the weight feels similar to regular soft plastics. The body is soft and moves very flexibly, so it seems like it could catch not just flathead, but a variety of fish. I'm really looking forward to using it. So, we've come out for a fishing trip. We must admit, the video before we started didn't record properly, so the trip has already begun. We hope you understand. This time, we were lucky to be taken out fishing by Doug from Doug Burt's Tackle World. Thanks, Doug. Also, the staff from ValleyHill, who came all the way from Japan, are on board with us as well. For this trip, we're focusing on shallow waters, so I've put the Bay Drive jig head aside for now. Instead, I've started the fishing with a 1/6 ounce jig head and the Bay Drive curly tail model. Even though the jig head is light, the rod is also lightweight, making it easy to cast and very comfortable to use. This time, I'm pairing it with the Legalis 2023, and the overall weight is kept light, providing a good balance. The fishing technique involves repeatedly lifting the jig slightly off the bottom and letting it stay, and the solid tip's sensitivity really shines here. It makes controlling the light jig head very easy. As I mentioned in my first impressions, even though the tip is solid, it has a good amount of rebound, and you can clearly feel the rig bouncing with light rod action. Additionally, the sensation of the lure hitting the bottom is very clear, making soft plastic fishing quite easy to handle. There was a bit of an odd feeling during the last jerk, but there was no hook set, so I reeled it in. Ah, the worm's been cut off. We're all talking about it, and it seems like this was likely a bluefish, or as we call it in Australia, a tailor. Shaking off the last miss, I'm giving it another try. Yep, it's definitely easy to use. I haven't tried heavier rigs yet, but using light lures feels really comfortable. The solid tip has a soft feel to it, but it's not too weak or overly delicate. There's just the right amount of stiffness. Of course, you can't feel the soft plastic's vibrations through the tip, but it's easy to sense changes in depth or water flow. What's interesting is that earlier, when I mentioned feeling an odd sensation when the soft plastic was cut off, it wasn't a sensation in my hands. The tip moved strangely, and that's what made me feel something was off. So, when searching for information underwater, paying attention to the tip might give you more insight than what you feel in your hands. If you want to focus on changes in the bottom, dragging the lure along the bottom might be a good way to do it. Jerking will let you feel differences in water flow or depth, but it might be harder to get a clear sense of the bottom's shape. At this point, one of the staff members hooks into a bluefish. Maybe targeting bluefish is the way to go. Just as I'm wondering, another bluefish is hooked. Unfortunately, we weren't able to land it, but it seems like bluefish really like this soft plastic. I didn't have it at hand at the time, but if I had attached an assist hook to the bottom eye, I might have been able to hook it. After several more casts, there were some bluefish bites, but no reaction from the Flathead, so we decided to move to a new spot. This time, we're heading to a shallower spot, so I'll give the swim minnow a try. I'm using the Whiplash Factory Swayward 16 FLS, which weighs 43.7 grams. According to the specs, it's within the range I can handle. At first, I'm using it cautiously. Yep, I'm casting it just fine. This lure weighs 40 grams, which is close to the upper limit of 50 grams, but it's no problem to cast lightly. Next, I'll try casting a bit harder. Oh, no issues at all. It casts well. However, I'm not putting weight into the backswing. I'm only using the forward swing to cast. With this weight, if you try to swing it too hard in the backswing, you might risk damaging the rod, so be careful. I'm getting used to the feel now and cast normally without any issues. The rod's responsiveness really helps the lure fly far. As I mentioned before, the butt has enough stiffness while the tip absorbs impact just enough, making it easy to give the lure its action. Since there's no response, I'll try casting a different lure to see how it feels. The Whiplash Factory Flutterin'Wire 75 FP, weighing 12.3 grams, is a high appeal topwater lure that regularly appears in our videos. The casting feel and handling are great. And then one of the staff members hooks into a small flathead. I'm starting to feel a bit tempted to switch back to the soft plastic. Now, let's refocus and talk about the lure's performance. As I've mentioned before, the solid tip is surprisingly responsive, so it's easy to perform a dog walking action. It's firmer than a typical solid tip, but slightly softer than a tubular top. Personally, I think the balance between stiffness and sensitivity is just right. Well, since I've started catching a few flathead, I'm going to switch back to the Bay Drive Soft Plastic. Unfortunately though, I've been fishing for quite a while without any luck, and my battery is getting low. So I'll be turning the camera on only when I catch something. And here we go. Got the camera switched on just in time. It's not that big, but a flathead took the bait. It seems like this light-coloured soft plastic was the winning choice today. With a rod like this, an MH rod makes it easy to handle fish of this size. It brings them up quickly without any struggle. This one measures 43 centimetres, just over the 40 centimetre mark. Next up is a really cute size, barely even 30 centimetres, but it still hit hard. On this day, with strong winds and some murkiness, it seems that high appeal curly tail soft plastics in white worked well. Now, for the final push of the day. As time went on, the wind picked up even more, exceeding 20 knots, making it quite tough to fish. However, even in those conditions, the Bay Drive kept the rig moving properly and allowed me to feel the bites clearly. At first, I was making longer movements, but it seemed like the fish were less active that day, so I switched to shorter, more subtle movements. Instead of jerking, I was shaking the rig, drifting slowly through the spot for a while. Finally, I got one. This was the strongest pull of the day. However, the tubular section bent and reacted nicely, allowing me to easily bring the fish in. As expected, the rod is light for its length and strong for its lightness. The fish measured 53 centimetres to the tail. It's still on the smaller side, but it was an enjoyable catch. There are still big flathead in this area, so it's unknown how the rod will perform when hooking a monster-sized fish. However, at least during today's trip, I found the rod and soft plastic to be very user-friendly and easy to work with. On another day, I had the chance to test the Swarp Head and Dirt Curly for snapper fishing, although I couldn't use the Bay Drive rod due to certain circumstances.
61 meters. 70, this is the rooftop.
In this area, a 1-ounce Jighead is slightly on the heavier side, but the flat base of the Swarp Head slows its fall compared to standard Jigheads. Right on the fall, I got a strike.
Big on. All right. Big on. Let's go, boys. Big one, too.
It's putting up a good fight. From the way it's pulling, it feels like the hook is set firmly, so I'm not worried about losing it. Moments like these are always so thrilling. As with the flathead fishing session, the white-based bay anchovy lure worked very well again. Snappers feed on crabs and shellfish, and parts of their mouths are strong enough to crush shells. However, the Swarp Head's hook is incredibly sharp, providing a sense of security that, just like with flathead fishing, a firm hook set will ensure it penetrates their tough mouths effectively. A slight detour here, but I've been regularly using the 2024 TWINPOWER since my last review, and I must say, I'm quite impressed with it. Despite being a compact reel, it handles snappers of this size effortlessly, allowing for a solid and powerful retrieve that makes fighting fish much easier. Additionally, after 6 months of use, I haven't encountered a single line trouble yet, a testament to its reliability so far. Take a look at this. It's hooked firmly. The tide conditions that day were quite unusual. The middle layer had a fast current, while the bottom was nearly still. This made the feeding patterns inconsistent. Sometimes they bit higher up, other times they only struck on the fall. The Dirt Curly attracted plenty of bites, But unfortunately, many fish just bit off the tail or the tail end of the body without committing fully. In the end, I only managed to hook the first fish. However, the number of bites was comparable to bait fishing, which proves that the dirt curly was definitely working. One point of concern though, and this applies not only to the dirt curly or dirt shad, but to Japanese soft plastics in general, is their softness. While they swim well and attract fish effectively, they're less durable than Western soft plastics. This often results in a one fish, one lure situation. After a strong bite or a successful hookup, the soft plastic almost always needs replacing. This can lead to higher costs. That said, there are times when fish ignore harder lures but respond well to soft plastics like the dirt curly. It's a tough balance to strike. The best approach might be to use more durable soft plastics when the fish are actively biting anything and switch to softer, more enticing options like the dirt curly or dirt shad when the fish are more selective. At the very least, I'm confident that Bay Drive soft plastics will work well for snapper based on this experience. Caution! Do not full power cast. Bay Drive is specifically designed for use in Japan's boat flathead game fishing, where shared boats are common. To avoid disturbing other anglers, full casts are not intended. Instead, it's designed for light casts, such as underhand and half casts. Therefore, this rod should not be used for full casts where weight is fully loaded in the backswing, even within the rod's capacity. I didn't confirm this properly during the review and ended up attempting a full cast. Here's the result. Just to clarify, this result was completely due to me exceeding the rod's intended casting capacity. In fact, as I showed earlier, casting a nearly 50-gram swim bait was no problem from the boat. However, I used a heavier backswing and cast for greater distance from the shore, which led to the breakage. I was using a 28-gram head at that time. This rod is intended for light casting from a boat and for fishing soft plastics with a bottom wind technique. Please be careful when using the Bay Drive. By the way, the broken rod has been repaired and is still in use. Conclusion. The ValleyHill Bay Drive is a tackle that is easy to use for bottom wind fishing. As mentioned earlier, the Bay Drive, particularly the rod, is a specialized rod and is very easy to use for bottom fishing with soft plastics. Although I haven't made a video due to the lack of fish caught, I have also used a 28-gram jig head in slightly deeper areas, and in such intended uses, it's incredibly easy to use and rig manipulation is very smooth. Additionally, the tackle is generally lightweight, so for species like flatfish and bluefish, pairing it with lightweight reels like the Vanquish or Arity in the 4000 size makes the setup much lighter. The solid tip offers a great balance between sensitivity and stiffness, allowing you to detect various signs, yet it provides enough butt power to handle fish like a 60cm snapper. However, since it's a specialized rod, its versatility for other types of fishing is a bit limited. For those who prefer bottom fishing with soft plastics from a boat, the Bay Drive is a great option as it accommodates a wide range of jig head weights. But for example, I wouldn't recommend suddenly switching from bottom fishing with soft plastics to throwing a 20-gram jig for a surface blitz. For now, I only caught flathead and snapper, but I look forward to targeting more species in the future. I'm really happy with the handling, and I want to continue using it. How did you enjoy today's video? Staying true to our slogan, one step closer to your dream fish, our goal is to make your fishing experiences richer by providing tackle reviews, updates from Japan's domestic fishing industry, and helpful insights. If you enjoyed this video even a little, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to our channel. It's a huge encouragement for us as we continue making more content. If there's a particular tackle you'd like to see reviewed or a type of fishing that has caught your interest, let us know in the comments. While we may not be able to respond to every request, we carefully read each one and give them serious consideration. Thank you for watching.